Welcome back, everybody. It's your host here, Rel Purnell, aka Carsha Rel, and we're back live with another one. Network is my net worth. We got a great one today. Our guest today is Lenny Logic of Stand On It podcast. We're going to talk a little bit about biz, entrepreneurship. You guys know how we do it, man. Investing in yourself, all of the above, man. And without any hesitation, let me bring J Hall Asian in, and then I'm gonna bring you in, Lenny, and we're gonna get this thing on the road.
My guy.
J Hall Asian, what is good?
No complaints, man. Just running around, hustling, man. I see you as all grinding today. I see you got the threads on.
Man, it's been you can hear my monotone voice, man. It's been one of those days, one of those grinding days, and then you come home and like you checking some stuff. I'm like, man, I gotta order some new lapel mics. My lapel mics damaged. I ain't even really use them.
Listen, it happens. It's a part of the game, man. We try to move through it and deal with it as we can.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. But yeah, I mean, today was cool. It wasn't too hectic, all in all. But man, let's get this thing started, man. Lenny, let me bring you on and let's get it started. Let me just drop something in the comments right here.
Hello. What's going on, fellas?
What up?
Lenny,
how y'all doing? Let me flip. Yeah, I'm about to flip this camera around. Give me 2 seconds.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know how it even got flipped that way. Hold on. All right, we good.
Lenny Logic, what's up, my guy?
What's going on, fellas?
Man, all is well on this Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It's definitely back to the hustle, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody had the long holiday weekends. Back to it now.
Yeah, man. And speaking of hustling, man, you hustle a lot. I'm always getting those alerts. Lenny is live. Stand on this podcast live. We with this person. Or we doing music today. I'm like, what is it this guy ain't doing on this podcast, man?
I mean, the thing is, the aspect of my podcast is being an entrepreneur and trying to boss up and trying to make something out of nothing. So if I see a music artist and I'm going to reach out to him, if I see somebody with a business, I'm going to reach out to him. I don't have like a niche. My niche is that I see somebody chasing a goal and I want to salute them and I want other people to be inspired by their story. So that's why it doesn't matter if it's a big YouTube star, a comedian, an actress. You know, it don't matter what their hustle is. It just matters that they got that mindset to win.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into it, man. Explain to our viewers who you are, and also where you're from.
All right. So I'm Lenny Logic of the Stand On It podcast. I'm originally from New York, and now I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Cool, man. Tell us a little bit about your podcast and your business, man.
Like I said, the Stand On It podcast is about networking with like-minded people so that other people can learn and get some jewels and they can be inspired to take a risk on themselves. The thing is, everybody says they want to be a boss, but we know that, you know, it's easy to say that, but to actually try to do it and actually have the tools to do it, that's the hard part. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, big time. So take us back to the beginning. How did you get the business started?
Okay, so I was managing music artists, models, things of that nature. So that was my background. But, you know, when the pandemic came, of course, it was no live venues. So my whole way of networking, I mean, you know, of course I emailed people. Of course I followed a few people that I was doing business with, but not on the scale that I'm doing it now. And being in the house and not being able to network the way I was used to, which was more visual, you know, face to face, I had to switch it up. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a risk on myself. I like to speak in public and I like to network with people. So I was like, I'm going to take a chance and try this podcast lane. I didn't even know it was such a big lane, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's endless, man. Endless. As far as the people who you can talk to, people who you can network with. Obviously, you've been doing it for what?
Yeah.
You started it
6 months. I just started it January 3rd, and July 3rd made 6 months. So it's just 6 months for me.
Wow. So are you doing this currently full time?
I'm actually doing a bunch of stuff. So this is one of the many avenues that I'm setting up for myself.
Okay. Would you mind? And you can obviously close the door or leave it open. It's completely up to you. But would you mind talking about your hand involved in
You said the other things I'm doing?
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I do a lot of consulting. So I like to try to help people figure out what they need to be doing it and when they need to be doing it, how they need to be doing it, how can they do it. A lot of people, like I said, they're like, oh, I need $50,000 to start a business. Well, we all know there's several ways to go about it. Do they got a business plan? Because, are you going the route to try to get a loan from a bank? Are you trying to get a grant from the government? Are you trying to get other angel investors? So it's like I try to help people figure out, okay, you have an idea, but now how can we scale the idea to make it a reality? You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of consulting for me.
Okay. You want to jump in here, Jay?
Yeah. So my side to switch gears slightly. I've become a fan of the Stand On It podcast and just kind of sort of listening to it, man. And my favorite episode was you did a show with a guy, Frank's International Footwear.
Yeah. I definitely remember Frank. Yeah, he's a hustler for real.
And what I loved about it, and I wanted to get into a little bit, was your interview style. So in that interview, without giving it away, because I want people to watch it, this guy had a lot of ups and downs in his entrepreneurial journey. Some success, a lot of failure, but you were able to take him to a place within the interview that allowed him to be vulnerable. And it went from just being a regular normal podcast interview to he was giving it up. Like he was breaking it down to you right down to the core of exactly what happened. What, in your opinion, what is it about your interview style that makes people want to be vulnerable with you and give the full breakdown of what they're doing?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked me that because that's actually what I think is unique about it. It's a conversation. I don't really think of my interviews, like you said, as an interview because I don't send people no questions. I don't really set it up like, oh, I'm going to ask you this, then I'm going to ask you that. We start having a conversation. And as I start learning their personality, that's kind of how I tailor the interview.
Gotcha. Okay, and you know what? That makes sense because it really was an interview to me because it was great conversation. But that's probably why he felt the willingness to want to be vulnerable is because y'all was just chopping it up.
Exactly.
Now, one thing that I found is in that interview you explained what Stand On It podcast means, and I loved it. And I'm paraphrasing it, so correct me if I'm wrong. But it was something like standing on integrity, standing on your ethics in business, etc. Talk to our viewers about what Stand On It means to you in terms of your brand.
Okay, so the reason why I named it Stand On It Podcast is because exactly what you just said. I wanted them to let the people know what they stand on. Like, what is their motivation? Is it loyalty? Is it money? Is it family? Is it greatness? Some people just want to be known. They want success. They want fame. Or do they want fortune? Or do they want to be a nonprofit? Do they want to help people? So that's where the whole name came from, Stand On It. So I want to know, what do you stand on? What is your motivation? What gives you because, we all know from being business people, business is hard. There's going to be a lot of times where you get like, yo, maybe I should just go get a job where all I got to do is clock in, clock out. We know with business, you don't clock in, clock out. You really never off the clock. If you get an important email, you got to answer it. You can't wait till the next day because they might send that offer to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? They might make another phone call, and now you just missed out on some business. So we all know that, you know, as professional as we want to keep it, there's times where your clients or the people that you working with, they might hit you and it's non-business hours. And if it's important to you and it's important to them, you got to jump on it. You know, you got to at least let them know, oh, I seen what you're saying. I'm definitely going to get with you in the like, you got to touch base, because we all know people make a phone call and then they'll make another phone call 10 minutes later because they're impatient.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Great point. One more, Rel, and I'll turn it over to you, man.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead. Minutes you want, bro.
And so the other thing that I saw in your podcast that reminded me a lot of what we're trying to do with this is it's 100% real talk. And I feel like, and I know you're not saying this to people in advance, but I feel like the vibe that people that you interview get is, this ain't the place where I can come and pump fake. I can't lie. I can't cat, as the young boys say. You know, I gotta give it real. Do you feel like it's your personality that makes them feel that way? Because I don't, in any of the interviews I saw, I really felt like people were being as real with you as possible, because they felt like that you would be the type that might pull their card if they weren't. Am I wrong or am I right?
It's not really that I'm going to pull a card, because, you know, my whole thing is I want you to be comfortable, you know, and that's the whole thing. I think because I have a little phone call with them before the interview, but I don't set so when I say I set the interview up, I set it up as far as like making sure the pictures that I use for the flyers, they comfortable, sending them the flyer, making sure all the information, the logos, all that good stuff is on there. So we're not actually talking about the interview. We're just talking about them being comfortable doing the interview. You know, some people want to do a pre-recorded interview, but that's not really my style. So, and I just try to let them know, listen, it's going to flow. Don't worry about it. If you get stuck, I'm the host. That's the whole reason you have a host, to keep the flow of the conversation moving and to make the guests comfortable. So I'm going to play my position. All you got to do is just sit back and enjoy the ride. It's like they getting in a Uber XL. You know what I mean? Like they getting in the back and they just chilling. I'm going to get them to the meeting. I'm going to get them where they got to go, and I'm going to let them tell a story. So that's why I think that it comes off like that.
Awesome. You got it, bro. What's your next one?
Man, so you know, you say you're in the music, you say you're in the consultant, you know, you're doing a podcast, it's taking off like wildfire.
Thank you.
For you to be new to this, you do it very well, right? I must say.
Appreciate that.
Where do you think that stems from? Like, did you have any media training? Did you take any courses? You know, did you have any prior to it, like in the entertainment field, having those reporter / conversational type roles?
Well, it really comes from, like I said, when you're dealing with music artists and models and speaking to people about their business, you just get so comfortable talking to people that, and I've been in tons of interviews, you know, like I said, I was managing music artists and models, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm used to people being at radio stations and TV sets, and they, you know, I'm seeing the whole behind the scenes, how they doing everything. So I saw how staged it was, and I didn't want that kind of flow. I didn't want a stuffy kind of flow. So even if I got a suit and tie on, I still want people to be comfortable talking to me. I don't want them to feel like I'm on the spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want them to feel like they're telling their story, like they talking to their brother, like they talking to their aunt, like they talking to their cousins and family members, like, yo, let me just let y'all know what's going on with me. You know, these are my struggles. These are my strengths. That's how I want them to feel. I want them to feel like they talking to people that they really, like they know them already or something.
I like that, man. And, you know, I was going to ask you this, but, you know, we can always do it. You know, what sets your stuff apart from every other part. You know, I got a show, Talk TV. We got Network, It's Your Network. It's a bunch of other podcasts out here as well. You know, your energy, your style is completely different. Did you see, before you jumped into space, like a need for the energy to bring, or did you just jump in and was like, yo, you know, this is what it is. This is how I'm doing it.
It was definitely a leap of faith. It was definitely a leap of faith. I don't know if you know or not, but so the first event with YouTubers I ever went to was an event called Scary Fest back in October of 2020.
Yeah.
Right? That was the first event I ever went to. So I was just a fan, you know, watching the Stunner Reeses and watching the Lucky Wheels and Deals. I was just a fan. And of course I was already doing my consulting and I was already doing my management, right? So when I go to the event, I see all these people with cameras and cell phones and everything walking around. So I got to see what they were doing. So I was like, well, I own a car and I love my car, but that's not my lane, right? So I was like, well, that's not going to be my lane. So I'm like, I'm talking to Stunner Reese. I'm talking to different people. You know, they putting me on their camera, taking my shirt for my company or whatever. And I'm like, okay, this is a cool vibe. I like the community. So, like I said, as the months pass, the pandemic's still going, you know, so I'm still stuck in the house. I'm still working from home, doing everything virtual. So I said, you know what? It's a lot of people that want to be telling their story. Like, you know, I'll be on the phone with a model or a comedian or anybody, just different people. And they be wanting to tell their story. And it just kind of clicked in my head like, wait a minute. I could give them the platform to tell their story. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't aware of how many other podcasts or people was really doing it until I kind of jumped in already. Then I started seeing, because, you know, then you start putting the word podcast in your, like in your hashtags and stuff. So that's when other people's stuff started popping up. So I was really not aware that I would have been more intimidated. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd have been more intimidated to do it if I would have knew how many other people was doing it. But since I didn't know, I just jumped in, you know, confident, like, oh, okay, I'm doing the thing.
Man, it's you're right. But also I think it's thousands of podcasts out here, right? Thousands. Hundreds of thousands, probably.
Yeah, probably hundreds of thousands, especially after the pandemic.
Yeah, so, yeah, especially after the pandemic. Man, it's billions of people in the world. Billions. And if you can just grab a little small percentage of that, those billions,
exactly,
man, you good. And I feel like it's a space for everyone. If somebody
definitely
the game in the pod, I think they can, you know, and do it well. Obviously, I think they could win. You know, and amongst everybody else, when so many people, there's so many different interview styles. Somebody might connect with you.
Exactly.
Not like me, they might not like Jay. They might not like Car Talk, but they vibe with you. So I feel like, yo, it's everybody. So, you know, if anybody's watching and want to jump into the podcast space, I say just do it. You know, don't be intimidated. And as funny as it sounds, sometimes not doing your is helpful. Not doing your thorough. I mean, I'm sure you did some sort of research, right? But you didn't comb through and do like thorough research.
I really did not. I'm telling you, I didn't do my due diligence as far as how many podcasts was out there. I really just looked at, because I wasn't a big YouTube watcher. So you got to remember, I was like a TV watcher, like a Netflix, Hulu, you know, Fire Stick. I was that type of TV watcher. I wasn't like a YouTube watcher. So I only watched like a couple YouTubers. Like I literally was only watching like 2-3 people. Yeah. So I had no idea it was this huge community of people. Like I said, when I went to that event, I kept hearing them talking about it on the videos, and I was like, well, it ain't that far from me. I just want to see what it's about. So when I rolled up and realized it was like thousands of people, I'm like, what in the world? Like, I had no idea, you know what I'm saying? So, but if they didn't embrace me, if they didn't talk to me and just be like regular people, like I said, like a brother or like a cousin or like a next door neighbor, I would have been like, oh no, I'm good. But I felt like everybody there was just like me. They're a father, they're an entrepreneur taking a risk on themselves. So I just felt at home. And like I said, they were talking to me, shaking my hand. Some of them even put me on camera. And I had just met them that day. So it was like to go home and see yourself on all these people's channels that you just met. You know what I'm saying? You like, oh, wow. Like, it just gave me that confidence. That's what I'm saying. So of course, I joined a few more people's channels. Like, you know, I subscribed to a few more channels after that. But I still wasn't thinking about no podcast. That's what I'm saying. The podcast thing came a couple months later as I was still stuck in the house. So I'm like, I'm having all these Zoom meetings with people. I'm having all these virtual meetings with people, and they like supposed to be 10-minute meetings, 20-minute meetings, but it becoming an hour because the people just going. You know what I'm saying? They telling me all this background. So I'm like, I could use this to my advantage. So that's kind of, I just said, what I'm going to name it. And I'm always talking about what I stand on. So that's where the title came from. I was like, stand on, stand on, stand on. Oh, stand on it. Okay, I'm going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on my principles, my beliefs, my values, how I move. And that was that.
Awesome.
I don't like to overthink stuff. I don't like to overthink stuff because I think it gets corny. It gets like, you know what I mean? It gets too predictable. If you just, you know, I just don't like that. That to me, that's boring. If I tell you everything I'm gonna say, you're not gonna be that interested when I'm saying it because you're gonna be like, I already knew you was gonna say that. I already knew the answer to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And to piggyback on the YouTubers events, my first YouTuber event was in Dallas. You know when I met you. Yeah,
that was your first one.
Yeah, I didn't go to Scurry.
Wow, I would have never guessed that because, you know, a lot of you guys are so entrenched in the community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm real new to the community. So that might have been your first event, but you knew the people in the community. I didn't even know the people in the community. I literally just went to Scary Fest and met all these people. And now it feels like I know them because I'm liking their stuff. I'm commenting. I'm having conversations with them all the time. So now it's like, yo, that's what's up. But I couldn't tell you 8 months ago that I would, you know, have interviewed all these people. I've done 55 interviews in my 6 months.
Wow, man. Killing it. Yo,
yeah.
Look, big salute to you. I will say if anybody in, you know, the YouTuber space, definitely go to some of these YouTuber events that's in your realm. They don't have to be around cars, but go to these YouTuber events because they're different, man. They're different
for sure.
The local car shows that I might go to in the DMV, right? You know, I walk around with the camera. I may talk to a few people, but at the YouTuber event, man, you talk. Everybody's on the same.
Networking, straight networking.
Like, oh, I don't really mess with him. No, don't film my camera. I don't want to be on. Nah, everybody like, yo, Carl Sherrill, yo, Lenny Logic. What's
exactly.
My camera, like,
yeah, dope. The vibe is dope. Shout out to all the YouTubers I've met and that, you know, be commenting and stuff because it's a dope community, like you said. It's a super dope community, guys. Check them out, please. Check out the Black YouTuber community. You know, it's other ethnicities in there too, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's like a brotherhood. Like, it's good to see many entrepreneurs and that many people doing stuff. It inspires you to like step your game up because you see all these guys. Yeah, I got this kind of business. Yeah, I just did this. Yeah, I'm trying to do this. And you're like, yo, I got to get it together. I don't want to go work for somebody else when I see all these other people taking this. And I just want to say this to people.
Yeah.
If you can't do something by yourself, find a good partner. And if you can't find a good partner, join a good group. You don't have to be the guy by yourself. I think people get stuck. You know, they hear the word boss, they hear the word entrepreneur, so they think they got to do everything by themselves. You don't have to. Partner up with somebody or find a good group to do business with.
Man, that's big facts, man. Back podcast lane. Where do you see Stand On It podcast in the next 5 years? Do you think this like a long-term play for you?
So hold on, Lenny. Before you respond to that, Lenny, one second, bro. One point that I want to make on what Lenny said. I agree as well. There's nothing wrong with jumping in. But I'll say the one thing I notice about Lenny is Lenny has the ability to pivot. And when you jump into something head first, having that ability to pivot, even mid-interview, where something goes left and you got to bring it back or whatever, you can really, it's almost like, to me, I look at, I'm a sports guy. It's almost like in, you know, playing defensive back in the NFL, you the last line of defense. So if you can be on an island by yourself and cover that receiver, like you good, right? But
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
If you know in your heart, like, I'm a regimented person. I gotta do it this way and do it that way. Just because what Lenny does is what I would do and what Rel would do doesn't mean doing it your more rigid way won't make it successful as well. So I think part of entrepreneurship and this podcast lane is knowing who you are and knowing what your voice is first.
That's true. That's true. I agree with you.
But I just wanted to say that before we left that point. Rel, back to your question about where does Lenny see the pod being in 5 years?
To answer that, I just believe when opportunity meets being prepared, the sky's the limit. You know what I mean? You really don't got no limit because it just takes the right person. And that's why you see me going live so much and networking with so many different people. I don't want to just interview you and that's it. You get what I'm saying? So if you look at my story, you're going to see a lot of promotion for all the people that you've seen come through, from the first person to number 55 and beyond. You're going to see that because I realize something. People don't understand how powerful social media is. So let's say you go see my story and you see whatever, a business or a person that you, like he said about Frank's International Footwear. That's just an example, right? Now you like, yo, you know what? I do want to support a luxury designer, but I want to support somebody on the come up, somebody that's doing something I could personally reach out to and say, because if you go buy a Gucci suit, you can tag Gucci, but are they going to respond? Are they going to say, love to see you in the outfit? You get what I'm trying to say? But if you buy Frank's International Footwear, he gonna respond back. He gonna repost the picture. So it's a different, yeah. So that's why I feel like it's important for people to see that constantly going through my story and stuff. Yo, I could go get this. If I just want to be relaxed, I could go get Out of the Mud clothing. If I want some real, spiffy stuff, I could do this. If I want to hear music, let me check out this artist. I think that's important. I don't want to just interview you once and then that's it. We done. You know what I mean? To me, that's not networking. To me, that's really just an interview. So that's why I think it's so different, with what I'm doing. It's constant. People see it,
Have you, because you interviewed, 55 people, and you interviewed, you just not on a particular space. Like, you're not just in the car. You're not just in
exactly.
Kind of, you're kind of all through, between business and entrepreneurship. Have you came across that thing yet, or that person?
It is no. See, but I kind of touched on that in the beginning. There is a common theme. They're all entrepreneurs. They're all trying to take nothing and turn it to something. So it's not that I don't want to interview just car YouTubers, just comedians, just people with small businesses. I want to it's the inspiration. It's the, you know what I mean? It's the motivation. It's the learning to get some jewels out of a conversation that I want people to get. I want them to see no matter what somebody's trying to do, you can do it. That's why I interview different kind of people, because I don't want just musicians to be inspired. I don't want just entrepreneurs opening a mom and pop business to be inspired. I want anybody that's saying, you know what? I don't want to just go to work. I want to take it to the next level. I want to be a host. I want to be a model. I want to be a comedian. I want to be whatever, a Fortune 500, a software developer, a video game developer, MMA fighter. It doesn't matter. I just want them to be inspired, and I want them to get a couple jewels to start on their way. That's why I don't sit there and kind of just do this, because you're going to overwhelm people and they're going to get scared. So I try to give them just enough to start so they can get moving. Then they're going to contact people like me, contact people like you, contact people like Jay, and get more game so they could go, they could scale it up from there. But they got to start. So if you get them 50 things in the beginning, they're going to be overwhelmed already.
That's 1,000. Have you connected dots between, like, guests, like, yo, I think this person that I interviewed and interview 25 may mesh well with the person with interview 50. Let me create a group chat, introduce them, introduce them together. Seem like a guy who knows a lot of people, is huge on network. Has that happened yet? You know, between the show?
Yeah, I've definitely connected people, and people have called me to connect them to other people. You get what I'm saying? So it works both ways, because I think, like you said, because I make them feel so comfortable, they don't have no problem calling me or DMing me or whatever and being like, yo, I saw so-and-so on the episode the other day. Yo, how can I contact them? You know, some people don't want to just cold connect to somebody. You get what I'm saying? They want you to kind of be the plug to put them to the person. So now they feel more comfortable, like, okay, this person expects me to call. This person expects my DM. You know, a lot of people don't have that voice like we got, that'll just reach out to people. You know, they don't want to be embarrassed. You know, people get embarrassed very easily. People, especially when they don't know something, especially when they trying to learn something, they feel like, damn, I don't want this person to look at me like, you know what I mean? So it's good to be that buffer. I love it. Like I said, I love being in different spaces. I don't want to be in one space. I don't want to only be accepted in one space. You see how you got the suit on today, but when I seen you, you had the hat and the T-shirt on. You get what I'm saying? So I want to be able to move in every environment. Oh, I got plenty of suits, plenty of ties, plenty of hard bottoms, but I don't feel like you have to wear that for somebody to take you serious, because I've seen many people in suits and don't know what they're talking about. So I don't get caught up. I mean, you want to impress people, but I don't get caught up in it, because I've heard so many people with a suit on, and I'm looking at them like, really? Is that what we set this meeting up for? For you to tell us that? You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, 1000%, bro. That's funny that you mentioned the suit thing. I think it's getting to a place where more relaxed is accepted. And it all depends on, I would say it depends on the industry as well, right?
Exactly.
You know,
your style.
Yeah, and the industry and your style. You know, you probably left corporate America a little bit after myself, Jay, so you could really speak on it. You know, when I left corporate America, it started to shift away from shirts and ties to more like polos, slacks,
Exactly, the 3-button polos, khakis, yeah.
Is that still a place in corporate America? I mean, I noticed.
So what I'll say is it's really all about your value proposition and what you present, right? So if you have a suit on and you can't speak to what needs to be spoken to in whatever industry, or you're not a subject matter expert, you're just a guy that doesn't know anything in a nice suit. And I think what's happening is I'll give credit to you know, whether it be the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world or some of these guys that have started to wear the Walmart T-shirt and the Wrangler jeans or whatever, because now from a corporate perspective, in my opinion, I think they're starting to look at it like, well, he got a gajillion dollars and he's in a Walmart tee, but if I ask him anything about the social media business, he's going to talk the guy in the suit under the table. So should that matter as much? And I think as a part of retention, if occasionally I let you come in a hat and a T-shirt, and that boosts your morale, and that leads you to perform better, that's a hustle for me. So this is why companies have these, you know, casual Friday. It's not because they truly care about the employment body. It's just if Lenny's gonna come to work and he gonna hustle harder because he got on the fit that make him feel the most comfortable, then I think that's where it is. Now, I will say in the podcast space, to Lenny's portion, it's more so about fashion, right? So like in the car world, you tend to see guys with, you know, car related gear on, T-shirt, like dressed down. To me, I can't wait for the day. I think it's gonna be hilarious when a dude starts a pod about cars and he's wearing a suit every episode, and the suit is fire. Because I think if he knows enough about cars, people are gonna stop worrying about the suit and be like, "Yo, he on his game." That's my 2-minute response to that.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, in my industry, can't wear
Right.
no jeans driving around people like Uber drivers.
No, see, the thing is, that's what I said. Now, if your business requires that, I got plenty of them.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna sit here and act like I don't love suits. Oh, I love to get spiffy, but what I'm saying is, it doesn't make somebody more qualified.
yeah,
Yep.
It just makes them look like they're more qualified. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't actually mean they're more qualified. How you gonna know if I got a degree or not? Just because I got a suit on? How you gonna know how many years I've been in business? Just because I have a suit on? So that's what I'm saying. That doesn't determine my value. It just makes you think that I might have more value. You get what I'm? It's an illusion.
Yeah.
So with success, there's, this is term, they say fake it till you make it. I don't really know if it's faking it. It's just putting out a positive image. Because if I'm in a business where you need to see me as successful, why would I want to present myself as anything other than successful? You get what I'm saying?
No.
If I know Jay getting money, right? If I know Jay getting money doing what he does, I want to be down with that. If I know you're getting money at what you do, Rail, I want to be affiliated with that. But if I see you always complaining about how horrible your business is going, why would I want to get involved with that? Like, you're scaring me to death. Like, I don't even know what's going on, but I'm scared because I'm like, this dude is always mad. This dude is always on the internet complaining. Why would I want to be affiliated with that?
And I think, Lenny, I agree with Lenny 100%. And I would also say, Rel, I think for your particular brand, there's a level of substance that comes with it. So I get it. Like, some of the places I used to eat, I don't eat anymore. But if I went to Applebee's and they had suits on, it's not going to jazz up the experience. Like, I'm not going to feel like it's 5-star dining because they wearing suits on them. You know what I mean? So it's about, to Lenny's point, I also agree with, it's industry based, but it's also about the substance. Because me as a realtor, I'd say I'm probably 50-50. My clients, half of the time, you're going to catch me dressed up. I think the other half of the time, you might catch me in a pair of shorts. But the substance allows me to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, when you first meet them, that's the first impression. So that first impression, you most definitely got at least the 3-button polo and the khakis. Because you're trying to sell me a $500,000 house.
Yeah.
I want to know you at least cared enough to put on the 3-button polo. Like, you don't got to show up in a suit to sell me a house. But you should at least show up not looking like you just came from the supermarket and you just rushed over there. Now, when we meet the third time, we got a rapport now. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
I already decided that I like what you're doing and I want to work with you. So now if you be like, yeah, I'm over here at the supermarket with the I'm about to meet you over there at the property. It's all good. I don't think nothing of it because we're already working together.
I agree with Lenny 100%, Rel. And I would also say, I think the other thing that, as business owners, that I think we on this call are doing it, but for those who are watching can do it as well. Sometimes what you wear can change the tone of your relationship with a client, right? So meaning that if you're working with somebody and every time you see them, they're formally dressed, if you end up being formally dressed, that may allow them to feel comfortable because I can relate to, oh, I like those shoes, I like that shirt, I can relate to it. Same thing. If you're working with a client that's super informal and not even necessarily always dress code, but if you're working with someone and their name is Kathleen and they say, hey, call me Kathy, call them Kathy. Because that's what allows them to drop down who they are. Because for me, to Lenny's point, I might be wearing a suit when you meet me. And then a couple weeks later, you might call me and need to see a house, and I'm in the middle of doing something that's completely not business related, but I decide to turn around and go show it to you. When you see me in shorts, you're like, yo, you wear shorts. And that just captivates you. It makes you feel like, even though I know I'm a regular guy, or Lenny's a regular guy, or Rel's a regular guy, same thing. I feel like for Lenny, if like Lenny turned around tomorrow and did an episode and threw the suit on and was killing them, they'd be in the comments and love, like, yo, like Lenny took the hat off and went in on.
Yep.
So it's, I think we can get a lot of subtle messages to our customers and even our viewers by switching
Yeah,
up the fits.
No,
that's true.
I
That's true.
1,000%, bro. So funny enough, we was on TV, and it was on. What was it on the Sunday? I'm not sure. But I was casually dressed, as most of the times, if people don't know me, most of the times I'm casually dressed, right? So we doing the interview. I see people in the comments like, "Yo, is this like a car interview or is this a job interview?" I'm like,
Hey,
bro, look, I'm reading it, but I'm crying, right? Like, man, so
it
but
was a corporate takeover.
it was a corporate takeover. But as we get into the conversation, it went away. As both of you guys said, substance matter. Like, oh, what's
Substance
Lenny
definitely
talking
matters.
about when it come to cars? He ain't no church dude. Maybe he just came from church, or maybe he
Exactly.
got off work and he ain't had no time to change and throw in a fitted or throw in a hood.
Exactly.
But yeah, I had to throw that in there, man, because dudes was frying me in the comments.
Hey, but in the space that we in, content is king. So if I put on a suit every episode, right, I look $1 million fresh. But the interview is horrible. Does it make the interview better that I was $1 million fresh? The content is king. So I'd rather give you banging interviews and be comfortable. I'd rather give you memorable material and be comfortable than to try to overdo it with the look and then not giving you the quality. I want you to remember the interview. You get what I'm saying? And it's not about me. It's about the guest. See, this is the other thing I think people get confused. When you're doing any type of media, it's about the customer. It's about the client. It's not about you. You got to show yourself in a professional manner, right? And carry the interview, carry the conversation, make them feel comfortable. But it's not about you because they see you every show.
Yeah.
So they know who you are. They know who Jay is. They know who Car Show Rel is. And if they tuning in to Stand on a podcast, they know who Lenny Logic is. It's the other person that's getting the spotlight. So I need to make sure you know what they about. I got to say their IG a bunch of times. I got to say their website. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not about me. So that's why I don't go, oh, I got to get super crazy on the fit, because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's about the content and it's about the person.
And Lenny makes a great point. And I want to spend 30 seconds on that, rather than we can get back to what we can.
No. Go ahead.
To your point, and I'll go back to that interview that I watched with Frank's International, which was my favorite. This statement is more for anyone that's going to view this, that's going to have the opportunity to be a guest, right? So,
okay.
Whatever. What I loved about that was he is trying to promote his luxury designer shoe brand.
Mm-hmm.
But he came on your show dressed like he wears luxury designer shoes. And,
okay, yeah, I see.
And I think as being a guest or whatever the case may be, and not just in general for whatever. Like, when I see Lenny on that screen, that's the same Lenny from Stand On It podcast, right? So he is showing his brand right there, right? Like, if I come on and I'm like the hardest celebrity barber in the United States, my shape up gotta be on point if I'm a guest.
Yeah, it's gotta be serious.
Because and I think sometimes when we come on to certain platforms, when I watch interviews, I'll see somebody and they have an amazing brand, business model, or whatever, but nothing about the aesthetic that they're presenting aligns with it. So if you're in a situation as a guest on the show, and it's one thing if you just chopping it up, but if you're there and you like, listen, I'm trying to get somebody to buy my products, my brand, if there's anything you can do to project that brand, whether it be in your look, how you present it, etc., you want to do that, because for that interview, what I took away from it was, I said, one dude's gonna buy a pair of shoes from this guy Frank, because they're gonna see him and be like, man, his foot is official. So I think I want that to be my fit, or I want that to be my kind of look. So you know what? I'm gonna order a pair of those, and I think that's something that's lost as we go back and forth on platforms and interview.
Yeah. And that's really what it is. It's about me getting the people tuning in to go to that IG or to go to that webpage. I'm talking about whoever I'm interviewing, actress, model, whoever. Just giving you to click that link and give them a chance and say, hey, let me check out what they're doing. Because, you know, their page got to speak volumes. And, you know, I tell people this. When you're doing business, if you came to my page, right, and you got to search for an interview, you're going to be like, what kind of unprofessional podcast page is this? I've been on this page, and I'm going down, 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 searching to get to an episode or searching to get to the flyer. So it's important that your page, even though it's social media, and we all know that website is king. We know that a website is king. But why not make your page on all these social media platforms get you some business too? You get what I'm saying? It's free. If I can have an IG for free, a TikTok for free, a Snapchat for free, a Twitter for free, I'm going to use it to my advantage. I want you to say, oh, okay, I saw the Instagram. Now I'm willing to go further with it. You get what I'm saying? Now I'm interested. Now you got my interest. So that's what I'm doing for each guest. I'm just trying to provide that interest.
Yeah. Okay. And while we on it, shout out all your platforms.
So on YouTube, it's Stand On It Podcast. On Instagram is Logic Enterprises LLC or Stand On It Podcast, whichever one you, TikTok, Stand On It Podcast. Basically every social media is going to be Stand On It Podcast because, you know, that's the platform I'm promoting the most at the moment. Logic Enterprises is kind of like the parent company of everything. You know what I'm saying? So anything I do is going to be under Logic Enterprises. Like the Stand On It Podcast is part of Logic Enterprises. And Logic Enterprises would be like my consulting company and you know what I'm saying? So everything I do is going to be under those two names. But the podcast has just helped me build my network to a different level because now I'm networking with people that I don't feel like I would have got to if I wasn't doing the podcast. You get what I'm saying? Because I gave them a chance to come on there and tell a story and promote their brand. So now they know who I am. Where if I was just out the way I was doing networking before the pandemic, it would have took me longer to get to that person. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 1,000.
Because I would have had to be in the right place at the right time. See, with the internet, you always in the right place. You might not have the right time, but you always in the right place because they're all there. You just got to find them and figure out what's the best way to contact somebody. So everybody don't respond to DMs. Everybody don't respond to emails. Everybody don't. So it's like you got to find your zone to how you're going to network with people.
Man, that's a gem right there.
That's a fact for sure. So I gotta get into my podcast mind. Lenny, if there's one person on your list that you like, yo, I would like, if I can get this person on my platform, like we're gonna have an amazing dialogue. And it's like, yo, this is somebody that's at the top of my list. I have not booked them yet, but Lord knows if I ever get them on my podcast, we're gonna do numbers. Who would there be someone that you'd love to chop it up with?
Man. See, it's going to have to be somebody that cover a lot of bases because, like I said, they got to inspire the guests. It can't just be like, I don't want it to be a moment just for me. I want it to be a moment for every person who see it. You get what I'm saying? So, that's hard. Like, it's going to have to be somebody like on a Tyler Perry type level or something. Like, it's going to have to be somebody big because they can change the game for a lot of people. Like, every person who see it got to be like, yeah, that's serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want them to just, I don't want to just be impressed. I want every person who clicked that button to be like, yeah, that's major. Not just major because they're famous, major because what they're going to walk away from is that person's story and they're going to be inspired and they're going to feel like, you know what? I can do it. I can do it. Whatever it is they're trying to do, they're going to walk away saying, I can do it.
That's real. That's real. And,
yeah. So
it's a message that resonate.
It's got to resonate with the culture. It can't just be, like I said, I'm not going to do nothing just for the look. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not my style. I'm not, if I don't like Car Show Rail, I'm not gonna come on Car Show Rail show just for the look. Like, to me, that's lame. So I wouldn't stand on who I am as a person, right? I wouldn't stand on who I am as a person if I'm gonna affiliate with people that I don't respect. And you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Right.
why I want to put myself on a screen if I thought you guys weren't official, if I thought you guys weren't solid? I wouldn't want to be seen with y'all on the screen because people
That's a
gonna
fact.
affiliate you to that. You get what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
It's a brand. This is your brand. So the people don't get that. Like, this is your brand. So network is my net worth is your brand. You get what I'm saying? Car Show Rel is his name. That's what people know him by. So when he travels around, his name means something to him, just like your name. You know, when people talk about Jay, they're going to talk about you in a certain aspect. So if you affiliate yourself with Rel and his reputation suck, and and people know, you know, it's going to weaken your reputation. So that's why I said I stand on who I am as a person. So I'm not going to do something just for the look. It gotta make sense.
That's
Another
fact.
right there, man. You know, because there's people out here that will do it for the clout.
Yeah. But that's because they don't value their brand. They value money or likes or whatever they're chasing. You get what I'm saying? They're chasing something, but it's not about their brand. Because see, your brand is you in the name of what you represent. So if I say Logic Enterprises, it has to have a reputation, because otherwise you're going to be like, I have no interest. You get what I'm saying? It has to have a
Right.
reputation. If I say Stand On It podcast, it's got to have a reputation for you to want to go check it out. So that's what I'm trying to say. All of us are brands, even if we don't know it. I'm talking about the people watching. We know it because we doing business and we're making moves. But I'm saying there's a lot of people who don't realize your name means something. Now, it could be good or it could be bad, but it means something. You get what I'm saying?
That's a
Yeah,
fact.
big time, man. You put out a lot of gems, obviously.
Thank
Can you share to our any fellow entrepreneurs, any people that's face, no matter start a podcast, to start a online network or a live show, or business? Like what tips, what can you share from over the years or decades of experience that you have in the field of entrepreneurship?
So on the entrepreneur side, on the business side, I'm going to tell people the same thing I tell them on my show. The first 3 steps is, first, you got to believe in yourself, you got to invest in yourself, and you got to be willing to take action, right? So that's in you. That's what you got to do. Now, as far as leg work, you got to do what? You got to create that LLC. So you got to spend that couple $100 to go get you an LLC, take your behind online, get your EIN number, that's free, and then you go get you a business bank account. No one going to take you serious if your business does not even have an LLC, a EIN, and a business account, a business bank account. If you ain't even got those 3 things, you shouldn't even be stepping in no rooms talking to people about business, because they're going to say, okay, what if they want to say, okay, I'm an angel investor. I want to put $50,000 in your business account tomorrow. You ain't even got a business account. Do you really think?
Don't have a
do you really?
You don't have,
Exactly. Do you really think after that I'm going to send $50,000 to somebody and they don't even have a business account set up? So you just blew it. You just blew it right there. Like, you just blew. You could have been talking all the stuff the person wanted to hear. And because you didn't have those 3 things, they already know that you're not ready. Because they're like, his idea is great, but his business acumen is sucks. You know what I'm saying?
look, that was a great one, man.
He dropped a great gem, and I gotta throw something on top of that, Rel. To Lenny's point, a business without the things that Lenny listed is a hobby.
Yeah, that's the basic 3. That's the basic 3.
And listen, I'm not. This isn't my message, and this is not a message of the show. This is my message. The reason why I say it's a hobby is because we've got to get out of the habit of being fearful of failing. If you find an entrepreneur, I don't care, from me to the richest person on earth, and they tell
Yep.
you that they did not take an L, they're lying.
They're lying. Yep,
They're lying to you. So it's a leap of faith. And the way, to Lenny's point, the way I look at it is, as someone told me a long time ago when I was a much younger man, was like, yo, so when you go get a job at a company and you ask for a salary, you're basically telling them to invest X in you to work for them, so that, because they'll get a return later, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you telling me, and the way it was posed to me was like, are you telling me that you're not gonna spend a couple $100 and invest in you? So you mean to tell me that they believe in you more than you believe in you?
Exactly.
And from hearing that message at 20 years old, it resonated with me, because it was like, well, of course I believe in me more, so why don't I bet a couple $100 on me? I would do it with shoes or whatever. So
exactly.
It's a struggle. Don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Don't listen to naysayers. Just jump out there and do those things, and keep a laser focus on what you're doing.
Yep.
Big facts.
And just to piggyback real quick what he said, remember, when somebody tells you you can't do something, they're really saying they can't do it. They're not, because how can they tell you what Jay could do? How can they tell you what Rel could do? How can they tell you what whoever's watching? How can someone else tell you what you can do? Right? If I say, Rel, you can't do 50 push-ups, how do I know if Rel can do the 50 push-ups? You get what I'm saying? So it's me saying I can't do it, so I think he can't do it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, people project their fears onto you.
Exactly.
That's a fact. And sometimes people are scared. Sometimes people are scared of actually what you can create.
That as well.
That's true.
That as well, man. Any last remarks before we close it out? It's a little bit past 8:12. So we ran it up for about an hour.
I appreciate you guys.
For you, Jay.
No, I mean, I think it's a great interview. Lenny, thank you for coming on our platform. We're building ours, obviously, the way that you're building yours, and I see a ton of value in your mission and what you're doing. And to your point, I'm going to continue to tune into the pod, because I love your message, and I love that you're bringing people on your platform that have value for everybody. And you're not personalizing it, because I think some of podcasting has turned into fanboying, and let me get who I love on and talk to them. So I love that mission, man, and thank you for that. And I'll step on the limb and speak out for the show and say, Stand on the Podcast will always have support from our brand.
For sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys.
That's one.
I do, for real. Like I said, that was the first time I met Rel, and we just kicked it. And it was cool, it was super cool. And that's the thing with me. Like, I'm a vibe type of person. So that's why I said I'm not going to do something just for a look, because to me that's lame. And people are going to remember that about you. They're going to remember that, oh, when the camera was on, you act one way. But then when the camera wasn't on, you act another way. You get what I'm saying? So now, let's say you're doing business, right? And you're looking for somebody else to invest. You're going to be like, nah, dude is phony, because when he was rocking with us, he was one way. But then as soon as the cameras was off, or whatever the case, he was a whole different way. You get what I'm saying? So I'm out here trying to show people this is who I am. So if you rock with me, cool. And let's make it happen on many levels. I'm a businessman, but I just happen to be a businessman that likes to wear hats and a T-shirt. I got suits though. Don't think if you tell me we're going to get the bag, I'm not coming with the hard bottoms, you know what I mean, and all that. Like, we're going to get it going.
Yeah, facts. You kind of got to be a chameleon. And just
too, man. Got to.
scenarios, like you're not gonna go golfing with it on, to close the deal.
Exactly.
Right? You're not going.
Exactly.
I mean, you can go to the club to close the deal. I mean, that's possible, but typically you might want to get dressed down to close the deal in a club or something like that. Bottles,
exactly.
In VIP and talk biz. It's good to be that chameleon. And now that you said that, I'm gonna throw in the suit and throw people off a bit, because I don't think I threw on the suit.
Hey, see, you shouldn't have told them though. See, that's the thing. You lost the element of surprise. You can't tell them. Look, you just gotta pop.
I'm gonna be honest with you. So this lane we created mainly people in the car game. They ain't trying to talk no biz, man. I love business more than cars. I just told him myself, right? I love business more than cars. Jay Hall knows that. Like, if it came between the two cars, I see you later. It's time to get the bag. I'll come to car.
Oh, you have a bag to get the cars. So look. Let's be realistic right here, right? If I want to get $100,000 car, I gotta have my stuff together, because I'm not gonna be able to maintain and keep that car if I don't have my business together. So it goes hand in hand, and that's why I try to tell people, you know, you like Rel said, you got to be a chameleon. You got to know how to move in many rooms. You can't just be, I can only move in the street. I can only move in the boardroom. You got to be able to move on many levels.
Yep. Man, he dropped a lot of gems, man. And
listen, he dropped a ton of gems, but I know you're about to shut us out.
Yeah.
To the people watching, please understand. You have to know how much Rel loves cars to understand the concept, right? Like,
Yeah.
don't get it. Don't get the way that it was pitched, right? Like, I don't care. The love is. This has been a love since birth for cars.
Yeah.
So it's not to diminish. It's like two kids. It's like your two babies. It's not to diminish one.
3 with cars. Like Rel could have a whole show by himself, just going on and on, showing pictures and video clips of him in cars. So please understand what he said, how important, like Jay said, please understand how monumental what he said was.
Man, look, I just had a change in my life once I got the family. Oh, yeah, I love these cars, but I got a bag to even get to these cars. So
to get to these cars, yep.
More important. And I'm like, is this a good move to buy this car that's going to depreciate? I'm not big on YouTube where it's going to bring me a bag, so it might not be the right choice right now. It's something that I can.
But that's the businessman in you. That's the businessman in you. You understand equity. You understand stuff that depreciate. You understand that. See, that's the problem. I think a lot of people, they want to be a boss because it's a popular word. You get what I'm saying? It's a popular word to be a boss. But they don't understand what it takes to be a boss. You get what I'm saying? Like, to be a boss is not just saying, I can tell people what to do. To be a boss is making the best decision for the brand, making the best decision for the employees. That means you're the last person. They think that the boss is the first person. The boss is the last person, because I got to make sure all my employees get a check every week and can feed their family and can pay their bills. So that's being a boss. I got to take care of the team. If the team ain't eating, you ain't no good boss.
Hey, your question, right? And I'm gonna tell a quick story. Boss, they say boss. You know, everybody's got the cliche bosses take losses and everything like that, man. Me and Jay, we took a. It wasn't really a loss, but we seen how big our staff was when we throwing these goals. You know, we had employees, we had security. Like, we seen how much we paid our staff versus how we split at the end of the day. And granted, it was okay. But I'm like, bro, you see our overhead right now? That's, I mean, you could say it was an L, but I'm like, bro, they took damn near all the money.
Yeah.
You've been in a situation where you thought the bag was big, you had to bust it, you had to pay staff. Dang, yo, I did good, but I ain't really do as good as I thought.
Well, that's why we got to have multiple hustles, right? That's why we got to have more than one thing, so that we can supplement the money from one venture by the money from another venture. Because you might not need all those employees for a different venture. So that's where you could kind of clean up on that overhead, because you won't have as much overhead. You got a virtual office. You got this, you got that. You don't have office space. Like people with storefronts. That's why everybody got these online stores, because that overhead from having that storefront, you got a whole separate rent. You got a whole separate light bill. You got a whole separate water bill. You got a whole separate, you got to make sure the place secure. Any place where you're going to have things of value, you got to secure it. So it's like having all those same bills at your residence and then having those same bills again at your business. That's overwhelming for a lot of people. So That's why they do stuff online. So, you know, I had to understand, like I said, it took a lot of learning to get to a point of, okay, I understand why this is an online business. I understand why this is a storefront business. I understand. You get what I'm saying? Like, I had to learn that. And I don't think the normal person, they get it and they don't get it. You get what I'm saying?
I agree 100%, Rel. And what I'll say is that since that incident, living it, my perspective has changed a little bit. Because what I realized is, as an entrepreneur, you categorize all the times that you lose money as a loss, right? But when I made a ton of money in my career, when I looked at my net versus my gross pay, that was an L. I paid money into Social Security, and Social Security is not going to be available for me when we old enough, right? That's an L. I think it's all perspective. And
Yeah,
it's, you know, as an employee, it was like, oh, I'm taught. I make a certain amount of money. I pay everybody else before myself. I take the change, and it's okay. But as a boss, it's an L. I disagree.
Yeah. Because if you're taking care of 10 other people, you're a boss. Think about that. If you're making sure 10 other people could feed their family, even if you're not clearing $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month at the end, you're a boss. You're taking care of 10 families. 10 families are eating, paying their mortgage, paying their car note because of you. That's a boss. Come on, let's keep it 100. Like, that's a boss.
No, big fact.
So it's not all about profit. Obviously, you got to make business. I mean, business is profit, right? We all know the number one rule in business is profit. It ain't feelings. It ain't none of that. But for people to respect you, see, this is the whole thing. Respect. What do you stand on? What type of person are you? So for people to say, Rel is my boss, you want to work for a person like Jay. For people to say that, you got to take care of the team. If you don't say that, do you know what they saying about you as soon as you turn around? They like, this mother or this, you know what I mean? They have nothing good to say about you because they're like, he's killing us so he could take home the most money. You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
That's just my thought.
Look,
Listen,
man.
we got to have Lenny back, man. We got to get Lenny back. Close this out, bro.
Yeah, you didn't, bro. We had one car talk, right? My guy, well, shout out to you. And he was like, bro, I love the interview. I love y'all interview style. Y'all let the guests talk and y'all a lot, right? And it took me by shock. I'm like, don't everybody let the guests talk? And then I hear you just say it like, people got podcasts. It's all about them and they don't let the guests talk. Man, look. If me and Jay was doing all the talking, guys, if y'all watching this live, y'all wouldn't have been able to get all the gems Lenny been dropping, man, because he been dropping heavy gems. Heavy gems. Salute to you, bro. Thank you.
I appreciate you guys.
Come on the show. You know,
Thank you.
as you continue to progress, we're going to continue to support you, and we're going to get an update from you, and just bring you back. You know, we definitely going to bring in soon. Again, I know I'm going to be at Scary Fast.
Yeah, I'll definitely be there.
For sure, for sure. I might see if Jacob pop out the bushes. He ain't been.
I might have to come out, man. I ain't been outside. I've been locked in grinding.
Look,
I might have to
you've been locked in grinding. You ain't been out on the car scene since we've been throwing car shows and like.
Yeah, this is a fact.
14
And you got basically, might as well say basically 4 months because it's the last weekend of October. So you basically got 4 months: July, August, September, October. So you know, just come through. You know, that's me. I won't be at nothing, you know, of that caliber till then, unless it's local in the Atlanta area. But that's my next big event, and that's just the network and just to have a good time. It's a great vibe. Like Rel said, once you come, you'll see what he's talking about. It's not just, oh, I can see a Charger anywhere, right? I can see a C8 in Atlanta. I don't got to go to an event to see that. But it's the networking and it's the camaraderie. Like to give people a handshake and say, yo, I love what you're doing. I like the way you leveled up. I seen what you did in June. I seen you added merch to your catalog, or oh, I seen you started doing this, or oh, I see you opened that business, you know, whatever. So it's really about that. It's people think it's just about 300 cars parked, but it really isn't. You learn a lot from other people.
Man, it's Jay, a different vibe, bro. And like he said, the biggest thing is camaraderie. It really a lot of like local shows that you might have been to and you got funny stares, or you
it ain't like that.
People standing over here because they don't like the other clique of people over there. You know, majority of the times, man, it's love fest. Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Oh, let me get this on camera.
Exactly.
And I'm like, man, because again, we come from a place, me and Jay, where you know it's kind of sometimes tense in certain places. You gotta feel people out. When I stepped into the scene in Dallas, I was a little tense. Like, yo, I'm out of town. I'm in Dallas. You know, I'm all looking around and making sure I'm good. But after a while, I'm like, all right, I can kind of chill a little bit. I can put my guard. Yeah. Oh, you really rock with me? Oh, that's weird. I'm normally used to somebody wanting something, or somebody trying to get something out of me, or somebody trying to, had the drop on you or something like that. I'm like, oh, so these people really rock? Yo, it's a different world. YouTuber, than any other car community that I've been a part of. My car life.
Yeah. Salute to all the YouTubers. It's too many to name. Rel knows there's way too many to sit here and try to name y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. We talk to y'all all the time. We comment. We like. We you know what I mean? So salute to all you guys, man, because I'm telling you, I love the entrepreneurship and the camaraderie. I love that.
Big facts.
Alrighty.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, man, and thank you again for coming on. I'm about to close this thing out. Everybody, go follow Lenny Logic on all platforms, media.
Thank you.
Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, at Stand On, and also check out his previous podcast as well, man. Y'all heard him on here dropping gems. He got a lot of guests in all different industries. From the entertainment, the music,
thank you,
comedy, to models, to YouTubers, to cars, man. He's doing it all. He's talking to all cultures. And, again, like he said, that chameleon, you got to be that. In order to be that, you got to be a chameleon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
A car guy don't go in a conversation with a meeting or a business owner, or a YouTuber. So,
we bridging together.
On your level of business acumen, of being able to wear those different hats, throwing those different clothes, those different suits, those different necklaces, to be able to have those conversations, and it actually salute to you on that.
Hey, salute to network is my net worth. Salute to you guys, man, because I see what y'all doing. Y'all came on the scene. I remember when Rel told me, earlier this year, I remember when he told me he was going to launch it. And I was like, oh, so you're doing something separate from what, from your brand that you're already affiliated with. And, hey, I love that y'all took that leap of faith. Like we telling all you guys, he took that leap of faith. He networked and teamed up with you, even though y'all was already doing business together. You get what I'm saying? He networked with you and said, hey, bro, I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with a partner. And that's what I want you guys to remember. You don't got to do everything by yourself. So I might do it by myself. Jay does it with a partner. Somebody else is successful, and it's 6 of them, 10 of them in a group. So however you need to do your business, do it that way. Don't think that you have to do it the way somebody else does it. Do it your way so you can be comfortable.
That's a fact.
Look, man.
Another gem.
For days, man. Gems for days. Love
Experience. We got all this life experience. It don't cost me, and it's not going to stop my success. See, this is the other thing. Your success cannot be stopped by someone else's success. So they think like Rel winning. So I can't say nothing to Rel because Rel's winning. Or I can't tell Jay about what I'm trying to do because Jay winning. No, we can win together. We can win together. Like, what are you talking about? I want to be in a room full of bosses, a room full of millionaires. What? I don't want to be the only person with some money. Then I'm the target. I'm the target. If I'm the only one that got something and everybody else around me can't get, they could barely eat, then I'm a target. So I need everybody eating.
That's a fact.
Look, man. Yeah.
Feed the wolves. Hey, feed the wolves, man.
Yeah.
Look, we got the fire emojis going on. We got the gym emojis going on.
Thank you.
Yo, look, we've been rocking. I feel like if I don't close it out, we're gonna talk
I'm sorry.
30 minutes. So look, we doing this, and we're gonna definitely bring Lenny back, y'all. We go because this is another great one. And down in Atlanta, right?
Yeah, I'm in the Atlanta area.
Look,
but you
our last guest,
business.
He has, another business owner, entrepreneur, investor, all of the above. We're gonna link up with him. But when we chat down in Atlanta, that we get up with you and rock with you in person as well, brother.
Yeah. And if y'all need another team member on any, on any level, let me know, man, because that's the thing about me. Like I told you, I'm out here brand building and networking. So, I'm not out here, like I said, I'm not trying to just say, yo, Rel, you dope. Yo, Jay, you dope. And that's it. You get what I'm saying? So if we could build together, if I can help in any way or whatever, let me know, man. Let's make it happen, man. It's a room full of bosses. It's a circle of bosses. It's not just, like I said, I ain't with that nonsense, man. That's weak.
Man, listen, I like the way you talking, my guy. It's no pride involved. And let me say this as well, right? Sometimes you got to go places. You got to put yourself out there to meet people who you connect with. The person that you can connect with outside of the state. They might be on the other side of the world. No matter the other business partner or whatever the case it might be, it might not be in your direct realm that you can, to or reach to, man. Like me and E Vapors, right? He down in Carolina.
Exactly.
I was just going to walk out my house or drive around, drive anywhere and link up with him. The same with you. You extended, you know us enough, but we're not in your core circle. And you feel like, oh, look, if you got something to people to help you guys out or vice versa, I'm down to rock with that, man. So people like, man, I don't have nobody. I don't have nobody I can link up with. Go to these networking events, jump on a couple lives, jump in people's comments, slide in people's DM. You never know what you might come up with, man.
You never know.
Partner.
Never know. You couldn't have told me I'd have did 55 interviews. I'm gonna tell you right now. Because I was like, what if it don't work? You get what I'm saying? I was like, what if I reach out to 10 people and I don't get no responses? What if I reach out? So you never know how it's gonna go. That's all I'm trying to tell people. You never know. But you gotta believe in yourself. You gotta take those no's to get to the yeses. You can't say, oh, if I take 5 no's, I'm gonna give up. Because you're gonna get 5 no's. So if you walk in with that mindset, then you already defeated yourself because you're going to get those no's. You're going to have deals that fall through. You know what I mean? So,
the fact, man, you got to get those before you get to the yeses. But on that note, we appreciate you, Lenny. Everybody go follow Stand On It podcast. He definitely blessed us with a great one. We see you guys next Wednesday. And positive, stay motivated.
Salute.